G'day, I'm Mark from Self Sufficient Me, and I like experimenting with new ways to recycle materials and grow food crops. In this video, I'm going to not only show you how to grow potatoes in a cardboard box, but also I'm going to show you how to turn this box into worm food, so the whole thing can be used in a sustainable way from start to finish. Let's get into it. Well, in case you didn't notice, it's pretty gloomy and wet. It's one of those days, and I wanted to get this video done because the potatoes are ready to harvest and I don't want them to rot in the box. And speaking of boxes, we tend to get a steady stream of cardboard boxes through parcel deliveries, etc. So instead of crushing them down and whacking them in the recycling bin for collection, I thought that I would keep one of them, a box that's 60 long by 40 wide and 30 centimeters deep, to grow some potatoes in and see how it goes. I didn't do any special preparation, no lining to protect the box, not even any holes in the base for drainage, as I figured that excess water would just seep through the cracks and the cardboard anyway. I got 500 grams of seed potatoes from the nursery. I filled the box halfway with a premium potting mix and then evenly spaced the seed potatoes in the box before covering them with a few inches more of the same potting mix. Now, before I go on, I know what some of you are thinking. But Mark, saving money and recycling a cardboard box is all well and good. However, by the time you buy the seed potatoes and premium potting mix, you're looking at about $20. I can buy a kilo of washed potatoes from the supermarket for $3.50. What is the benefit of growing your own? Thanks for the question. Well, besides not being as cheap as chips, and besides recycling, the three main reasons to grow potatoes at home are freshness, variety, and organic. Freshness. There is something special about eating a freshly dug potato. It really is a taste sensation. But have you ever wondered why supermarket potatoes barely last a fortnight in the pantry before going green and inedible? It's because they are already months old. When you grow your own, you can eat them fresh, but you can also store them longer because they are not already months old. Stored correctly, your homegrown potatoes should last for at least 4 months, maybe even longer. The second point is variety. At the supermarket, you have a limited variety of potatoes to buy, usually around 5. But did you know that there are over 5,000 different varieties of potatoes in the world today? It's true. So instead of being limited to what the corporates offer you, grow your own selected varieties and have some variety. These sapphire potatoes are purple even after cooking, which makes them aesthetically pleasing on the eye, especially if you like the colour purple, which I happen to. And it's not just a pigmentation, it also signifies that the potato, or any purple vegetable for that matter, are full of cancer-fighting antioxidants. So they are actually very good for us, and these particular potatoes are also very tasty. What a bonus. The last thing about growing your own is the organic side of things. You know how they are grown. There's no pesticides, no in-store residual chemicals from fumigation, no storage in plastic bags, just pure, fresh, organic, homegrown potatoes. Now let's get back to growing them in this cardboard box. After a week, the potatoes started to grow through the potting mix. I kept the watering up mostly daily since we are heading into our subtropical summer, and technically it's a bit hot and late to be growing potatoes here. Just over 2 weeks, the potato plants had grown big enough to backfill. Backfilling potato plants can help to produce more potatoes if the plants start rooting from those newly covered stems. And considering the time of year wasn't ideal for potatoes, the plants grew quite well over the next 6 weeks before the pests and the heat started getting hold of them. And here we are, exactly 8 weeks later after I first planted them in this box. So let's remove the box and see what type of harvest we get. What I'll do is I'll snip off these stems first, because we don't need them anymore. Right, that's that. And now I'll show you a really cool trick. Well, I've never done this before, but let's see if it works. I'm going to slide the box up and it should just reveal the dirt inside. Ta-da! You can actually see a few potatoes just on the outside here. And now let's just smash this down. Okay, they're fairly small so far anyway. They are nice. We'll weigh these soon, but for now, we'll put them in here. Tiny one there. I'll make sure I don't miss any. There we go. Well, by the looks of it, I think we've got our money back. Now I'm going to reuse all this potting mix. I'm going to put it into a garden bed. One last one, I think. I'll just go through a little bit more of a look, but I think that's about it. Let's weigh it and see what we got from our 500 grams. Put the potatoes back in. They are spectacular looking though. $15.90. So yeah, nearly 1600. Well, that's at least 3 times the amount of what we planted. So we got our 500 back and then another kilo on top of it, which is not too bad, but it's not great either. Let's get this now into a garden bed so we've got that full cycle. Found another potato. In case you're wondering, the base is of course just sodden, rotten materials. That'll compost down, that'll just disappear in the garden bed pretty much in a couple of weeks. Oh, g'day. I'm Mark from the future, and I just thought I'd jump in this video right now and let you know that those potatoes were really nice to eat. They weren't as purple as I expected they would be. They had a tinge of purple, and why was that? Well, I think it was because it was grown at a hotter time of the year. If I grew them through winter here in the subtropics, I reckon they'd get purpler on the inside. So I've saved some of the smaller potatoes, and what I've done is I've put them in this box and I've covered them over with some potting mix. I'm going to stick them in the shed, and then in about 3 months time in autumn, as we're going into winter, we will let them grow, and hopefully they'll grow longer. Instead of 8 weeks, 12 to 16 weeks, they'll grow more and they'll grow purpler. Well, that's the theory. I love experimenting, especially with food crops. But anyway, let's see how it goes. And now back to Mark in the present. Alright, because the box is so weathered, that will easily break up and compost down into the garden bed. I won't do the plastic here, but I'll compost the cardboard seed packet. I'll put that in the recycling. I'll just part the mulch a bit here. It's already full of worms. The worms will start eating it. I don't need to bury it too deep. It's not that big of a deal. Just make a trench. I don't have to get too particular actually, because that'll just completely rot down. Fill that back over. I'll be able to plant on this pretty much right away. Gosh, look at the size of this fella. It's like a snake. Look at him. What a ripper. What a beauty. Put him back in the garden bed. You eat that cardboard up, buddy. And now I'll just empty all this potting mix out. Because it's a premium potting mix, there's still some goodness in this. Smooth that all out. And that'll make a really good garden bed. Cardboard and all. Look, I would have loved to have given you the wow factor of a ton of potatoes in a cardboard box like that, but it's the principle that counts. And I think the principle worked. The cardboard box didn't fall apart. It only in the end, when I was taking it and looking for the harvest, that is a success in my view. And I think if I did it again at the right time of year and the right season with maybe a different type of potatoes, you might get a more vigorous type of plant and perhaps a better harvest. But I'm not going to get picky over that. I think the principle actually works, and so I'm really happy with how that experiment went. What about you? Leave your comments in the comments section below. I hope you liked the video. If you did, make sure you give it a big purple cardboard box grown potato wedge thumbs up. Share the video around because that helps my channel out heaps, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye for now. Phew, sweat's rolling in my eyes at the moment. There you go. Cheers.